It's taken almost 3 years for the live action One Piece to return. And so we're returning now with another 8 episodes. We're adapting more of the manga, and there's always the chance for diminishing returns. Were they going to get it right? But I think that season two is quite a big step up from season one. I think it does away with a lot of the growing pains of the first season. It feels like it have more fun with itself while also maintaining its sincerity. And we get to evenly spread our time with the characters every episode rather than waiting to introduce a core member every couple episodes. You get to jump right in this season, and a One Piece fan is being born within me. This is dangerous.
Yes. Yes. Ah, all my hopes and dreams to get every person to be a One Piece fan. Yes. Yes.
Another one for the
Another one.
cause.
This is going to be the most difficult episode for me personally because there's a lot of name dropping, a lot of introductions that they've done so advanced to the story, like a lot of changes, like, whoa, okay, that's here now. So this is going to be very hard for me to talk about. But yeah, this is a much better season. They looked more into the characterization, the chemistry between the characters were more defined. And it's great to have this sort of pace. We're not jumping one different island to the other. It's more fleshed out and it feels way more fun.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
Episode 1 with Logtown just brought back memories of how much I enjoyed that arc specifically with Zoro. Zoro has a bit more of a goofy presence this time. My favorite scene in Logtown is when he tests the Kitetsu blade and he's just like, yeah, I'm going to throw it in the air and just
Yeah.
do what I want to do. So it's just great to see the characters be themselves in this season.
Yeah, I was really happy when I saw in that first episode Zoro walks off on his own, and I was like, okay, we're about to get Zoro gets lost and is having a little bit more of a goofy side. And I think that they do that without compromising the character they set up in season one. We get to have Zoro have a little bit more fun. I think they're poking fun at his stoicism a bit more, but they still utilizing that element of seriousness that makes McKenna, who plays him, that's where he shines, I think. And so I really enjoyed that. The great thing about the start of this season is you're getting single episode adventures. Season one consists pretty much two-part stories, and I think this is so much better because you can see more of the world, you can have fun exploring the Grand Line. It's like fun and pulpy adventure serials and I'm a sucker for that kind of thing, and it's so much fun here. And it means if you get stuck with a story that's a little bit less interesting, you're not stuck with it for two whole episodes.
And how they handled Luffy this time round, because with Luffy, he's different in terms of in the anime manga, he's very powerful. So this time it's more about he struggles a bit more. He struggles fighting Avida, Smoker, Wapple, and loads of people think this is such a downgrade. But in my
Right.
perspective, I think that's more of an arc to realize that the Grand Line is not as it seems. It's more dangerous. It's more he has to adapt, fighting towards his dream, and it just seems a bit more of a human arc. So I see people just saying Luffy's not as powerful. I'm like, well, you need to see him advance and learn.
Yeah, I agree. He's not invincible, and I think that just makes for a boring character. Somebody who I still don't really understand how his powers work, but somebody who literally can't be hurt by anything is a bit boring. And I like that there's a couple episodes where people say all you do is just punch your problems. And yeah, he does. And I enjoy that he has to confront that a little bit. It's funny that you mentioned Alvida because I just forgot that she and Buggy were even in this season. I feel like so much more goes on in this season than does in season one. We have so many more villains, so many more characters. That's not a negative, but I just forgot those guys were there. The time that I did struggle was episode 7. So episode 7 gives us the origin story of Chopper, and it literally lasts the entire episode, almost an hour of reindeer backstory. And I'm sorry, but I lost steam with it. When we talked about season 1, I said that they cleverly peppered the origin stories throughout the season. They don't just dump it all at once. But here they were just like, here's Chopper's entire backstory, one episode before the finale. It ground the season to a halt. And I don't dislike any of the stuff in it. I just think that maybe if it was structured a little bit differently. As I say, I liked that we were moving at a good pace, but it just grinds everything to a halt to explore things that I think we could have got a little bit slower. I don't know if there's any way around that, but was that just me?
Well, I don't think you're wrong about that because I think with the whole thing with Drum Island, there isn't much material out of it apart from Chopper. I love Chopper. my boy, look at him. He's just going through a lot. And I think that's another emotional heart of One Piece is just as you go along, you're introduced by different crew members and Chopper. I was watching the anime introducing him. I cried. I cried so hard about Chopper's backstory. But here, yeah, it's a bit structured differently because I think they were just thinking about how they're going to tackle Wapol as a villain, literally for the finale. And I think they were just struggling like how they're going to get so much material around it. So I think they wanted to utilize the flashback for that. But I don't think you're wrong about that because it does hold a little bit. There was loads more things that were cut out from the anime and manga. There were these massive snow bunnies. They were just the size of bears. That was just one thing that they could have explored about the island or something.
Oh yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. Casually.
This is so funny.
Fine.
This is so funny to me. You're just like, what are you talking about?
Did not expect that. No, I thought the emotions of Chopper land quite well. I thought the song, the Tony Tony Chopper Suite, is spectacular. That really, I think, gets the emotions down. And yeah, what's he called? Wapol?
Wapol, yeah.
Wapol. I didn't love him as a villain. I thought he was
No.
a bit cartoony, a bit similar to how last season they introduced Arlong really, really late.
Yeah.
That I think works a little bit, but not spectacularly. And this time I just wasn't interested in Wapol. But we get the Brock works, and I really liked them. I thought they were fun. Because we have less going on episode by episode, I think it was fun to explore so many threats. Sometimes a show can buckle under the weight of all that is going on, but because we basically remove the focus on the Marines storyline, we don't get that. Garp and the other two, they only show up in one episode, and that's good because instead we get to develop the Straw Hats and the Baroque works. You don't need to pile up everything. You only really need to focus on the stuff that's going to come together, and I guess even the Baroque works is kind of leading on into season 3. But I was surprised by the lack of Garp and his apprentices because they're in episode 1, and then after that, given what you told me about them in the anime and the manga, them showing up after years, I think perhaps it maybe would have been better if they weren't in this season at all. Like, if you're going to do a long gap between the Straw Hats seeing them, commit to a long gap. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, with Garp and Kobe and Hemlipo, they were just there. I don't think they served the story as much. And I think this time around we got to focus on Smoker and Shigi. It's like, how do we, balance with the characters? That's the thing. How do you get through this with so many characters in mind?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I bet you are overwhelmed with so many things. Like, whoa, okay.
For
Mr.
sure,
Five?
but
Who's Mr. Five? He's a cool character.
my guy Cameron Johnson, who plays Luke Fox in Batwoman. Yeah, so I think that introducing things earlier is becoming more and more appropriate. So we know based on the marketing for this season that Oda has a plan. Look at me. I'm using the name of the author. I know so much has happened since we recorded our season 1 episode. The ending of One Piece is in the ocean now.
This is like the elephant of the room. We haven't addressed this. Yeah, Oda just dropped the written secret of the One Piece at the
What
bottom
the
of the ocean
hell?
right now. So the pirate arc is here. The great pirate arc is right here. The One Piece is real.
After we finish this episode, we are going to be setting sail.
Oda, please give us a clue.
That's all so fascinating, but we know that he has an arc in mind that he wants this show to end on. So we now
Yes.
know that there is a strategy, there is a plan. We know where this show is going to go. It's probably not going to run for 1,000 episodes, thank God for that. And with the
Yeah.
Netflix work ethic, with their speed, and I think that that's going to be really good.
I wonder what if that certain arc they reach is like just before the anime or the manga ends, just before that.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting if the live action show, the anime, and the manga all came together at the same time. There's something kind of beautiful about that. I don't know. But this one, we have some pretty long episode lengths, and I saw that and I went, oh God, this is going to be tiring. But I will be one to defend it this time. There's not much fat. This isn't like Stranger Things. I think that, yeah, okay, I did get pretty exhausted by the time I got to episode 7, but it's not tiring. It's not too much, I don't think.
Yeah, it feels refreshing as someone who read the manga. We get to explore the characters, especially Usopp, which I thought was great to see him
Yes.
as this great arc in Little Garden, where the crew enters this island where there are 2 giants from Elbaf, which we are right now in the manga, guys. Elbaf is where the crew is.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, so it's just wild to me how far we've gone from Little Garden, where Usopp wants to be the brave warrior of the sea and wants to go to Elbaf. I don't want to spoil too much, but Elbath is a really good arc right now. But with Usopp learning how to live with his fears, and there was a cool scene with Brogy where he tells Usopp what makes a brave warrior, and it consists of having fear, and having that fear, you're compassionate, you want to look out for your friends, and he learns how to live with that. So he saves his friends in the whole garden, and I thought that was really cool to see that because Usopp doesn't get a lot of moments like that.
Yeah, I loved that. I loved giving him an arc. A lot of the Straw Hats don't really get an arc. I don't think Sanji or Zoro do. Nami doesn't really get much to do in this season at all. In the final bit,
Yeah.
she's just like, I'm ill and I'm gonna just... And so I was a little bit disappointed with that, but I think Usopp, who I think is probably my favorite, the great Captain Usopp, Lord of Destruction, is my favorite. I love that we got to get a focus on him. Like the scene where he lets Miss Valentine hit him, I just thought that was just so great to like break the wax. Really solid stuff. And I enjoyed having Vivi. See,
yes.
the names. I've got it.
You're
It down.
learning. I'm so proud of you. Once you get to episode 1000, you're going to be like, I'm going to have a brain aneurysm. Yeah.
Bold of you to assume I'm going to watch all 1000 episodes. But no, I enjoyed Vivi. I thought she was a great addition.
Oh, she was great. And speaking, well, we were just talking about villains and Vivi. Alabasta is a very interesting arc to get into villain-wise because at the end of the season, should we go into spoilers?
Let's spoil away. I think it's a good season.
With the introduction of the villain for next season, Crocodile.
Yeah.
But I can't go into specifics who Crocodile is because it's just very interesting. And then the other kind of villain that we got to see throughout the season is Miss All Sunday.
Yeah.
AKA Nika Robin, my goat. I love Robin.
The ending confused me. So Crocodile is Mr. Zero, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they didn't make that explicitly. Maybe I'm just a dum-dum, but like I was like, is this the guy? Sure. And then they reveal Miss All Sunday's identity as like it's like a big reveal. I didn't get it. Like, did I miss something? I feel like maybe I didn't pay. No,
it's like a soap opera. It's like, oh my god,
it is.
No, it's just like that. If you look at Robin's wanted poster, it's just a child.
Yes,
there's a very sad backstory to that. So when I saw that, I was like, oh
boy.
There's loads of things dropping into it's like, oh, interesting, why did they done that? So Robin all the way through the season, really cool to see with the arms, with their devil fruit, how they practically done that. So that's cool.
Yeah, that was a cool little. This season feels like it has more explicit setup for season 3 than season 1 did. And if you compare this to another show that we talked about recently, Fallout season 2, I finished that season and I thought I liked it, but it feels like a lot of setup for season 3. This felt like it had set up season 3 and stood on its own as a season 2, and so I enjoyed that aspect of it. And boy, if I had a nickel for every time that a franchise ended an installment teasing Joe Manganiello as a future villain, I'd have 2 bloody nickels and still no Deathstroke.
Still no Deathstroke. Yeah, I want to talk about the costume design and the set design for this. It's cinema, absolute cinema right there. It's just so vibrant. It's alive.
John, it's streaming. Absolute streaming.
Absolute streaming. Oh my god, it just reflects so much with Oda's world building, with the Cactus Island, with Drum Island, with Little Garden. It just feels so different every time.
David Dasmalchian as Mr. 3 with the 3 in his hair and like the pure white skin. The translation of that into live action is insane. But I've got to say, cool. I agree with what you're saying, absolutely. But there is some really dodge CGI. There's a bit, the dinosaurs. Sorry, guys, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
Although when the T-Rex is dead, that's practical. It looks amazing. And also when Sanji fights the beaver.
Otter! It's the otter.
Oh, sorry, it's an otter. I guess Hoppers is on my
You
mind.
even called Chopper a bear the other week. You called him a bear.
Hey,
that's like...
hey, let's not. I might have edited that out.
He has animal blindness. Animal blindness.
It's a real thing. I think that clearly the budget for CGI creatures went to Chopper, and he looks amazing. But there's definitely moments when Sanji is fighting the otter. It looked really, really rough, I thought. But
it does.
Also, when Chopper shifts into his big form, they do it practically. And I thought that was amazing. It looked so much better than if they CGI'd a big hulkish monster. And as you said, the makeups and prosthetics, they're insane. We get a lot of mythical style creatures, like the guy who turns into a Minotaur-esque thing.
Dalton. Yeah.
Yes, and Chopper's big form. I thought that stuff was all very good. Now, there is one part of the costuming that I would like to discuss, because there was a recent recent post that did the rounds that compared the Chinese and Japanese versions of the anime. And the Chinese version censors a lot of the needless sexualization of women in the series, right?
Oh
And
no, yes.
what I saw was a lot of fans actually agreeing that the censored version is better. I don't know what your take is there.
I'm not aware of the
Oh, okay.
censorship. That's
Oh my God.
I
I
do
know
I know.
something you don't.
Oh my God. Well, I know bits of it. I've heard of it, but
Right.
yeah, the sexualization of the women in One Piece is very, very controversial. I don't know why they've done that. That's some of the things that just takes me out of One Piece sometimes.
It's something that is too present in Japanese culture, unfortunately, especially in anime. But after all of that, after seeing these differences, I was disappointed to find that season 2 of the Netflix show has a lot of that same sexualization. So often the women are wearing skimpy outfits and corsets and they have their legs out and they're wearing bikinis. And it is worth saying that there are men who wear trench coats with nothing underneath. And of course, nothing wrong with someone, man or woman, wearing a sexy outfit, but it felt so much more common and unnecessary when it came to the sheer number of women in the show who wore inappropriate clothing this season. To me, it felt like we're being faithful to the manga or the anime. But in doing that, I don't know. I've already seen some awful AI images that people have created of Nami in a scene where she wears a bikini, where they have done some disgusting stuff. And you just think to yourself, the factor that she's wearing a bikini in that scene is just ridiculous and unnecessary. If that's Emily Rudd's choice, that's her choice. But it felt like a thing in this season that I noticed more than last season. Is it just me? Is that because I think it's a part of the anime that they shouldn't be adhering to?
Yeah. What's interesting for me is seeing Luffy and Sanji and Zoro all just all muscle. I don't think it's like, wow, okay, McKenyu's buffed up big time, with his arms each jacked up. But it is worth noting to say that there is that sexualization with the clothes and with the bikini. I think it's a very weird culture for manga and anime. It's just like, I don't know why they do this. It's weird. And it just gets ridiculous most of the time when you're just like, okay, that happens more often later down the line. So that happens in post-time skip, which you've been asking me about. What is time skip?
What is the time skip? What, why, when, why, where, who, and
you
indeed
must have
what?
been so confused when people said, when is the live action going to finish? So, well, in my personal opinion, I think the live action might go up to the time skip, which is just when the Straw Hat crew, they all get separated and they come back 2 years later, stronger than before. And Nami, as you see, is way more exposed with the clothing. It's like, why make those choices? What is that? I hope for the live action, just get rid of it.
When we did season 1, you said you think the live action show will go to Water 7. Is Water 7 before or after the time skip?
So that's before time skip. So then we get Thriller Bark, Marine Ford, and Marine Ford is just... That's just a struggle. It's sad.
So do you think they'll use that as the culmination of the show, or
I don't know. This is very difficult because Marine Ford. There's so much that happens in Marine Ford. I don't know how they're gonna do that. I think it's gonna be so much CGI.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Because we talked about season 1 2 weeks ago, and now we're gonna have to wait 2 or 3 years for season 3. Who knows what that's gonna bring? And also, the whole idea of a time skip is complicated in live action because you want to show the characters have aged, but also it literally, like, if the time skip is 2 years, we've already taken 2 years just to get to the Grand Line.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But for now, we have season 2. I thought it was a very fun time.
I want to talk about some very important things that have happened in this season. So, Tom, this is going to be very confusing to you.
Oh, boy.
I spotted out some most important things that they just talked about. Case 1. Garth and Roger. Garth and Roger mention God Valley. We just got on God Valley in the manga, like months ago. We just got on that.
Okay.
And this is crazy. This is like a huge event that happens, basically. There was like sprinkles of like, what is this? What happened? Another thing that happened as well, they introduced some of the well-known characters. So like, the guy with the green hair, Bartolomeo in Logtown? No?
No. Oh, the guy in the cloak?
Yes. Not the guy in the cloak. That's Dragon. That's Dragon.
Oh,
that's Dragon.
Okay. The green hair? No.
The green. Okay. He has fangs. He has like a tattoo.
Oh, yeah. What's that guy's deal?
Oh, yeah. So basically.
Oh, God.
He's the number one glazer of the Straw Hats. He was in Dressrosa. So that's after time skip. He was in Dressrosa. And he said, "Oh, Luffy, I saw you in Logtown. You made an impact on me."
So they've set that up here.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the number one glazer. And then that's not all.
Oh, well, we're not done. We're not
Sabo!
done.
Sabo! You don't know who Sabo is?
No.
No. Okay, so basically, when we see Dragon, he sees Luffy go away in the ocean somewhere.
Yeah.
He turns around, he sees a character dressed in a top hat, very posh clothing. That's Sabo, and everybody's been freaking about this, basically. And then lastly,
oh God,
we got Brooks,
okay,
who is the future Straw Hat crew member. He plays the violin to Laboon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's Brooks.
Oh.
So he sings a song called Binks's Brew. I couldn't stop crying because that song and Brooks, it's hot. It's heartbreaking.
This is actually really cool because the show is sowing seeds that will be great if you're a first-time viewer or if you're familiar with the manga and anime. That is actually really cool. I'm actually really excited. We're gonna have to wait 3 years, dude. It's gonna be like either 2028 or 2029 that we're gonna see the next season of this.
But lastly, they name dropped Will of D and Lavtail.
You're just saying words.
This is insane. This is insane to me. Okay. Let's close out. We don't want to be here too long.
Okay. Before I start bleeding out my nose, what are you gonna give One Piece season 2?
An 8 out of 10. An 8 out of 10.
Okay, brilliant. I'm also gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I can't remember what we gave season 1. Maybe 7.
A 7 out of 10.
Yeah, but I think we're building up here. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think worthy. And next week, I'm so excited. We're doing Project Hail Mary, and I just like, if you've seen the trailer, just the idea of seeing Greg Fraser's cinematography on the biggest screen possible, I am just so excited.
I'm so excited too.
Amazing. And you send us an email at outtimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on Project Hail Mary, and we'll answer it right here on the podcast next week.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at outtimefilmpod, see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme, and Ronan for logos as always. And I think that's everything. Take away given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.